Hey there everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy that you're here. Now, before we get into it, I just want to encourage all of you to like this video, share this video with friends and family, and subscribe to my channel, and be sure to turn on notifications. It really helps me out. Now, I know a lot of you already know me as The Art of Mothering over on TikTok, and I just wanted to say thank you for all of your love and support over the last 6 months. I'm getting close to hitting 300,000 followers over there, and it has been a wild ride, that's for sure. I am just so proud of the loving and inclusive community that we've been able to grow over on TikTok. So if you would like to follow my TikTok or any of my other socials, they will be linked below in the description box. And now, without further ado, let's jump into today's video. Gender neutral or gender equal parenting. What is it? How do you practice it? Why do you practice it? And how did you start? I get asked these questions all the time, so I wanted to make a video to address them all, one by one. So let's start. What is gender neutral or gender equal parenting? Gender-neutral parenting means raising your children in an inclusive environment without the restrictive, outdated social constructs that are set in place for their assigned gender at birth. Now, if you're new to this and that explanation confused you a little bit, don't worry, it really can be confusing in the beginning. But stick with me here, because we're going to talk about it a lot more. But if you are new to this and this just feels wrong to you, let's take a second to think about that together. Our society is so heavily gendered in every way possible. From the moment a person is pregnant, they are bombarded with gendered products for an infant, who is inherently gender neutral, by the way. And one of the best examples of this, infant clothing sections in department stores. They all have clean-cut boy and girl sides, but why? Their bodies don't function differently at this age. There's no reason for it. Why are little girls the only ones that are allowed to wear bright colors? Why is it that only little boys have onesies with aspirations printed on them, like future president and little genius, while girls are stuck with quirky sayings like, I'm not allowed to date ever, and shopaholic? It's everywhere, and you cannot deny this. Another good example are toy sections. They are a disaster of blatantly gendered aisles. And look, I am sure that there are some of you out there that are thinking to yourselves, yeah, well, my son has never been into princesses. He actually prefers quote-unquote boy toys. And I want to let you know that that is valid, completely. I have a child that is the same way, but I want you to ask yourself, do they actually prefer those toys? Or were they only exposed to those toys? Who would any of us be if we had all grown up without limitations on what we could or couldn't like? Anyway, before I go on a total tangent here, let's get back on track. Gender-neutral parenting is simply allowing your children to just be, without all of the unnecessary pressures and limitations of society. Now, why do I practice gender-neutral parenting, and what got me started on this journey? I was raised in a very conservative, traditional household, and so was my partner. So, needless to say, I was raised with a lot of toxicity. And don't get me wrong, I don't just throw the word toxic around like it's nothing. My family was toxic. And while I knew from around 13 years old that I was being unfairly pressured into standard feminine gender roles, I didn't quite realize how toxic they were until I gave birth to my first child, who happened to be a little girl. Now, I didn't have a lot of support starting off because I gave birth to her right before I turned 17, and my family had very little faith in my parenting abilities. But I quickly realized that my family had an agenda for her, simply because she was assigned female at birth. And I began to see it more and more as I slowly but surely educated myself beyond what I had been taught. Around the time my daughter was about to turn a year old, I came to realize that I had so much unresolved trauma that was due to me being forced into these gender stereotypes my entire life. And I knew that I had to make some serious changes for her. So yeah, that is why I started this gender-neutral parenting journey, and that's why I'm here now. So, how do you practice gender-neutral parenting? I mean, it's a really good question. First, if you're looking into raising your children without gender stereotypes, you have to be comfortable with not being in control all the time. You have to be okay with letting them make decisions for themselves. Gender-neutral parenting goes hand in hand with bodily autonomy. And all of this starts very young, not just when they're older. You have to remember to expose your children to a variety of everything, like movies, books, toys, clothing, whatever else you can think of. Remember, children have impressionable young minds. So the more that you expose them to, the broader their understanding will be. When you raise children without all these expectations and stereotypes, they can sometimes change their minds a lot. And that's okay, that's healthy. But like I said before, you have to learn to let go. Children will naturally fluctuate when they're given this many options, but that's a good thing. It means that they're on the right path to figure out who they truly are without any limitations. And that's what we want, right? Next, you have to be able to unlearn the phrases and the beliefs that you were raised with. And I know that's much easier said than done. But even though many of us are aware that making boys tough and keeping girls soft and feminine plays directly into gender roles, sometimes we still slip up without even realizing it. And I'm totally guilty of this. Like, for example, my older son has worn dresses for years now, but there were a few times in the beginning where I mindlessly told him that he could only wear them around the house. I caught and corrected myself after I said it, but until then, I had never realized how deeply ingrained those beliefs were. It has taken years to get to the point where I am now, and I still have slip-ups occasionally, so if you do too, don't feel guilty, don't feel bad about yourself, it's all right. It takes a lot of time to unlearn these things. Alright, next. You have to be comfortable explaining things to your children. And I don't just mean the typical things that you have to explain, like why the sun shines each day or why the grass is green. No, I am talking about the hard stuff. Because if you're raising your children this way, it's inevitable that they will ask you at some point why their friends are taught differently. Like, as an example, one day many years ago, my oldest came to me and she asked me, "My friend at school says that his parents won't let him wear a dress. Why is that?" So yeah, lots of conversations have to happen, but they're wonderful moments to thoroughly educate your children. Okay friends, I'm going to end this video here, but I would love to answer more of your questions related to gender-neutral parenting, so please leave them down below and I will answer as many as I can in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me, it really does. Be sure to click subscribe and I will see you soon.